Welcome from Leap Australia. These videos act as a tutorial, helping young engineers understand how they can improve their design using Ansys software. The video will teach how to perform a 2D and 3D analysis on the fairing. The basics will be taught within the 2D environment. Due to the quick runtime, you will be able to perform domain and mesh studies and compare different meshing techniques and setups. The principles and techniques learnt in 2D are all transferable to 3D, where simulations can take hours and even days. Before performing simulations, ask yourself, what do you want out of CFD? Are you using it as a tool to design and iterate? Or are you getting a general idea of different shapes and then manufacturing and testing on the road? With any tool, there are inherent errors, and your approach may change depending on the resources available to validate the simulations. This example will be using CFD to understand the flow structure around the fairing at 40 meters per second. Using the information, we can then make design iterations aimed at reducing drag and validating forces in the wind tunnel. The geometry will be adjusted to help the meshing process. A 2D domain will be set up to capture the flow around the fairing. The domain will be split to demonstrate a meshing technique, creating a tet mesh around the fairing, and then using hex elements around the domain, due to its higher computational efficiency. The mesh will then be generated, checking quality and refining areas of importance, and performing a mesh study to determine the appropriate mesh size. The model will then be set up using Fluent, adding turbulence models, boundary conditions, setting up the solver, and then running the simulation. The results will be post-processed, checking pressure, velocity, y+, and velocity vectors, where mesh and geometry markers can be identified to change. As CFD is an iterative process, you will need to rerun simulations to obtain an acceptable result.